Oh, done.
Hello.
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 Every Rush song.
Hello, Rush fan. Welcome to another show, another scintillating, mind-opening, mind-blowing episode of Every Rush Song. I'm here with my two good friends. If you're watching us on YouTube, Tim's up there in the top left.
Hello.
Ooh,
Hello.
and he seeps back into the darkness. And then Jay's down there where the kick drum is.
Hey, man.
Made a foundation.
I'm down here with the kick drum.
I don't know. So let's talk about a song. Tim chose, well, we're starting off doing a few of our favorites of the first 10 or so episodes, and then we're going to get into the first album, which we decided a couple of weeks ago will be Power Windows. But for today, we're doing a song Tim elected, and just thought you should know that my uncle has a country place. Tim.
Tell me more about that. I love that country place kind of thing.
Well,
Yeah.
in the first take, before we had all our technical difficulties, Tim had a couple of very good points that we hope he can remember.
It's true. It's true.
No, there's not a chance in hell that's going to happen. But
Action.
all right. On this episode, we're going to talk about a song that's about a car. This is called the Red Barchetta. Which,
Is it Red Barchetta or bread?
well, Jay, it's funny that you mentioned that because now he did not find out until after the recording and the song had been out. It is not pronounced Barchetta. It is pronounced Barchetta.
Ooh.
Oh,
Right. Yes.
that doesn't sound right.
And I don't remember the year. I am not a car guy. And so that's why it's a little weird that this is one of my favorite songs from Rush. And in my opinion, it's more about the drive than really the car itself.
Yeah,
But I'm not a car guy. I don't really care. It gets me from point A to point B and back home again. That's great. But one of Neil's most favorite cars was whatever year something Ferrari. And so the Barchetta the Red Barchetta is loosely based off of one of those older Ferraris. Anywho, but Getty was informed sometime after that, hey, you're pronouncing that wrong. And I think Getty just looked at him and said, take off, eh? So,
Hey, speaking of that,
he's never stopped pronouncing it Barchetta.
in honor of Rush Talk, I'm drinking Molson Canadian beer.
Nice work, Jay.
Thank you. And I'm just going to take a sip and see if anything changes. Oh, that's a fine
way to
beer,
go.
eh? What?
I just talked all over your.
You ruined it. You ruined
I
the
did.
whole thing.
I said that's a beauty, eh?
You ruined it.
Wait, try again. Ready?
Ready?
Two,
Take
No,
and
no.
action.
No, it's
Please.
too late.
for me.
It's too late. Tim ruined it. I'm just going to take all my toys and go home.
Oh, no.
I really feel horrible. I'm about to break open my Shiner box and stab my eye.
Damn your eyes.
Stab my eyes. So
Wow.
sorry about that, Jay.
That's all right.
I ruined that. That was beautiful what you were doing.
Really? I wouldn't say beautiful.
Don't worry. I'll let you ruin some of my funny stuff that I've come up with.
As soon as you think of something funny, absolutely.
You're going to have a long wait. So, knowing that I was going to be suggesting this song, I've been doing a lot of listening to the song, lyrically, musically, really trying to set the mood for it. And I got a question, and it starts off at the very beginning with the lyrics. My uncle has a country place that no one knows about. Well, how did this guy know how to get there? If no one knows about this so-called country place. I mean, his parents, it's his uncle.
I mean, does his
So-
uncle even know? If no one knows, how could
The-
his uncle even know?
Right. Maybe his uncle's just wandering around in a country field, just lost.
Maybe his uncle, only thinks he has a country place. He did mention he's old and white. Well, it said he's white haired, so
Yeah.
that insinuates he's old. Perhaps, you get a little senility as you get older.
Maybe he meant no one else knows about, or it's off the grid. It's because
Oh,
it's
no, that makes a lot more
darkness
sense.
world.
Then the
Grid
lyric
probably.
then the lyric should be, my uncle has a country place that very, very few people in this general area know about.
That sounds very melodic, Tim. I'm
That's
surprised that they didn't have you as a lyricist. in the middle of the
Oh,
deal.
well, they should have. They missed out on a buttload of money right there, baby.
that would have been a lot of words, even for a Rush song, I think.
Yeah, I know. So, yes, Satan.
Oh,
Can you
is
hear
that
my
your
dog?
dog barking now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
Wasn't mine. So to open up the song, these beautiful harmonics being played by Mr. Lifeson. Ding, 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 ding. And so you sit back and you close your eyes, and the vision I get is the sun rising to start a brand new day. It's very early morning feeling to me, the break of dawn. And then everything goes into a little bit of fast forward, getting up, eating a bowl of cereal, possibly, maybe a sip of coffee. I don't know. But he's going about his business.
Bagel, maybe a
And
bagel.
this is on a Sunday, and he is eluding the eyes that were watching him, which I believe is going to be a question Jay is going to have a little bit later.
How do you know?
So he
That's
can
amazing.
hops on the turbine freight, his ride, to take him far outside the wire where his white-haired uncle waits, or what our very good friend Chuck had once thought it said, my wino uncle waits.
That sounds like a more fun uncle to hang out with, though.
Right. I would go there too.
Now, also, Tim, in the first take, the one that we had to scratch because of technical difficulties, please stand by. You had mentioned that you read Richard S. Foster's short story, A Nice Morning Drive.
Shane, you ignorant slut. I never said I read the whole thing. I've read a bit
What
of
is
it.
this reading you keep talking about?
Oh, I'm
Reading.
sorry.
Reading's
I
dead.
didn't mean to accuse you of reading, Tim.
Right. The only reading I do is Wikipedia.
Apparently.
So, well, in the album credits for the song, liner notes, what have you, Neil does give credit and says that this is inspired by a short story by Frank Foster Evans, or whatever you said his name was.
Close.
Didn't he
Yeah.
write like the first spin-off Star Wars?
Richard
Book.
S. Foster.
Tom
Well,
Foster, Alan Foster, Longkins,
Richard
Um,
S. Foster.
Tom.
no,
3,
no,
2,
no.
1, and we're back.
Oh, Jay. Hi, glad to have you.
the novel,
Thank you.
the novel is a futuristic place and time where the government, and again, you don't know if this is a singular country's government or if it's a one world government that has decided that these motorized vehicles are just too dangerous. So they start implementing these safety issues with motorized vehicles, start making so-called improvements to them, to the point where it just got to we don't want these motorized vehicles anymore, and we are outlawing them. So, and that's where in the song you get the alloy air car, which those were in the novel does talk about, short story does talk about that the people who own these futuristic alloy air cars, these cars were much bigger than your regular motorized cars. And these people were going around and causing damage. They would ram motorized vehicles because they could. They did very little damage to their own car. And
Were these air cars like land speeders or something like that?
well,
or but maybe, I guess, bigger.
no, I would imagine it would have been maybe the second or third generation battery operated green car.
Okay. All right.
You know,
Now, were they kind of government patrol cars or just cars? That,
no, that's what, no.
Not
These weren't government controlled cars.
Okay,
This is what the people were buying.
So they
Because
outlawed motor
yes.
engines for this far more dangerous air car.
Well, right. Not
Okay.
knowing that
Now,
that's
I
how,
think
what
maybe
people were gonna do with it.
the drivers of the air cars are just sort of taking it upon themselves, to be some sort of
Taking advantage.
vigilante
Yeah,
and take over the
exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
interest. And one of the rush groups I'm in, someone posted an article where California was proposing a law to ban gas powered motors versus electric, and this person had mentioned this is like Red Barchetta.
I
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
I heard that too, by the way. I heard I forgot what year it was, but it's
2025, I think.
Is it that soon?
I think it was 2025.
Yeah,
I don't read the
there-
news. I only read.
I think it's like banning the sale
Interpretation.
of new cars that are
So they're not going
gas
to.
operated.
Okay, so it won't be like
So-
the
so
motor
they
law.
can-
They ban them from the roads. It's
No.
something- Okay.
No,
But
but
they're
they
just
ban
gonna
the sales, and so therefore the only thing you can buy are these battery operated cars. But hang on a second, you can't charge them right now
Well,
because our
maybe-
power grid is failed, and we're doing rolling blackouts because we won't do anything about our natural forests and clean them up. So every year we go through these monstrous forest fires that devastates, but we don't want to do any self cleaning.
That's why.
Anywho,
And that's why the government won't tell you that they already have the technology to get free electricity, but they stole from Tesla.
right?
And
Yes.
Wait, Tesla, the car company, or Nikolai Tesla?
no, Nikolai Tesla.
Oh, the guy from.
I almost said testicle.
God,
Oop, no, I did say
Oh.
testicle. No,
Hey, every
say it
time
again.
Tim gets political, Jay, you say testicle. That's gonna
weird
be
that it always
be the
happens
code
that
word.
way. Testicle. So, anywho, that's really the basis of the story right there. And in the lyrics, the uncle had been keeping in good condition this vanished car. The kind of car, you could say the model or whatever, a brilliant
car.
red Barchetta from a better vanished kind.
Can I ask a question that you predicted I would ask? So I get the feeling that
No,
but I've also thought that possibly it's in the near future. It's like a world where the motor vehicle has been banished. People are constantly under the eyes of the man, so to speak.
The
And
eyes.
so this-
He had to elude those eyes.
yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's why the kid had to sneak out of wherever he was, the city or
Yep.
wherever it was he lived that's controlled by the man. So it's like a 1984 situation. Did I say Ford or four?
I think you said 4. I heard
Okay.
4.
yeah,
So
Is it a little Randian? As in Ayn Rand? Should we call it
Oh, yeah.
Randy instead of Randian?
I thought like Randy as in, hey, what's
Randy.
good looking?
Randy. Because it's still it's a dystopian society where
Right.
you kind of have this oppressive government that's banned cars.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't know. I have to admit, I didn't know about this novel, A Nice Morning Drive. So now I want to read it.
Yeah.
I think we should all, if maybe Jay too, since the two of us like to read, maybe we could read it for when we come back around and cover all of Moving Pictures. Maybe to have this story as kind of a
I'm up for
background.
that. Do you know how long this novel is?
I think
It's about 3.5 pages.
Dude,
I'm
man, let's read it right now.
I'll see if there's an audio
now.
book.
Yes. We'll take turns voicing
Now-
every other paragraph.
Because now that makes sense, right? Because he sets it up. It used to be a farm before the motor law. And if
Right.
in the lyrics, motor and law are capitalized, so it's an actual, I guess, law in this story.
Yes.
So you're thinking, okay, there's a country place. No one knows about it. So it's going to be nice and peaceful. It used to be a farm. So there's probably a lot of room. And then all of a sudden, before the motor law. And so right there, he sets up this whole dystopian city where there's this law that prevents the motors. And because of this, his uncle has to have this secret place.
Yes. Because he says he strips away the old debris that hides this shining car. So yeah, he was keeping it. It wasn't like this. I mean, he wasn't getting visitors all the time. No one knew where it was.
Right.
Remember? Nobody knew about.
Well, if they did, they know, but they didn't talk about it.
Right. So
it's kind of like two guys, like no one knows about it.
Right.
No, so no one else knows about it.
But
Jay's winking. I hope you're watching.
now you start putting the music with those lyrics. Okay. Again, waking up early morning, it gets you through that mood, and then it gets just a little bit, I don't want to say peppy, but a little bit more steady. He's on his way out to the uncle.
Picking up
And then the music gets a little bit more exciting with the uncle. Here you go. Here's take a look at this. Hop inside. Let's take this sucker for a spin. And then you go through that, and how the music really starts charging the excitement of, look, somebody came up to you and said, hey, here's Burt Reynolds' Trans Am from Smokey and the Bandit. Take it for a spin. Now back in the 70s, that would have been really, really cool to do. And the excitement you would have in that. And again, not being a car guy, I don't really even know what I'm talking about. So,
well, you touched on something I would like to mention. What I love about this song, it's a very sophisticated, both lyrically and musically, car song is what it is.
Yeah.
Like it's like like there's a lot of throughout the years, a lot of car songs, Racing in the Street by Bruce Springsteen, Little Deuce Coupe, Beach Boys, classic car songs. And I just love that they wrote a car song, and I think it's kind of the best car song ever, in my opinion.
Because to me, it's because of what the music does to the lyrics.
Right.
It brings you that look when you're on that road trip and you are on that open interstate, and this song comes on,
you're gonna want to roll down. You roll down the windows.
You roll down the windows, and the part of you were just you were pushing it. You're pushing it.
Even if you didn't have, if it was just if it didn't have any lyrics, or if you didn't know the lyrics and you were listening to that music, you would want to drive faster. It would make you just want to just pedal out of the pedal and just
Yes. So he's taking this. Now he is out and he's driving around. He's getting the feel of the car. He starts pushing it a little bit. He wants to see what it can do, and then lo and behold, what does he see coming straight at him?
The proverbial man.
That alloy air car shoots towards him 2 lanes wide. Now that is basically from the short story, because those cars were made to be so much bigger.
Oh,
It's
air
not
car,
it's not
turbine freight.
right. It's not
Get it.
talking about like, okay, this is silly, but remember Will Ferrell's Talladega Nights?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, when gosh, Frenchie guy comes in and he's ahead of Ricky Bobby, and Ricky's trying to pass him, but and the race announcers are even saying that Jean Pierre, whatever his name is making his car 5 lanes wide. Ricky can't get around him. It's not saying the car; it's actually 2 lanes wide. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
big.
It's
car.
not just driving where he takes up the space.
Right.
Actually, just driving down the road takes up that
Yes.
much space.
So-
It's a big car.
So now this guy sees this car
car.
barreling towards him. And then he's like, all right, it's time to show classic versus new. He
Yep.
turns around with shrieking tires. So he lets that car pass him. He makes the U-turn, and the race is on. And they are through that countryside. They could be neck to neck. You don't know. But the music is pounding on you. It's creating the
You
excitement.
hear the screeching tires and the
You've heard
Yeah.
the screeching tires, and I was just about to sing the lyric, and I can't think of it.
Laughing out.
Laughing out loud with fear and hope, he's got a desperate plan. At the 1-lane bridge, or the 1-way bridge, he's going to leave the giant stranded on the riverside. He's going to make that pass him, and cause that car to run off the road. And what does he do? He races right back to the farm to dream with his uncle by the fireside. And that's why I love how they end the song. You get those harmonics again, ding, ding, ding. And I just imagine, before, I would always imagine them sitting both in a chair. The fireside could have been inside the house at the fireplace. I'm leaning more to outside fire pit going. They probably both got a coffee cup full of bourbon, taking a sip of that, and that's what they're talking, they're dreaming, they're expressing their feelings and emotion, and the music takes you into that nighttime, end of the day kind of feel.
I have a question. What if
What?
it ends with the dream. They're dreaming about it. What if the whole thing was a dream? Why at the end he's talking about this thing that the kid's dreaming about. It was all just a dream about what it was like. His uncle has this car. He hasn't actually done that, but he's dreaming about doing that.
So then the harmonics at the end are when he's waking up
Right.
again.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong.
Yep, I agree.
I
So am I the only?
was just kidding. I didn't think that anyway.
Am I the only one who would hear at the 1-lane bridge, "I leave the giant stranded at the riverside for 50 odd years"?
No, you're not the only one. No, I do that quite often, actually. Yeah.
And I think that line is underappreciated. Laughing out loud,
Right.
fear and hope. I've got a
Yeah.
desperate plan. It's like he's scared. He knows his chances are slim, but he has hope, even though he's scared. But still,
Yeah.
he's laughing out loud because he's having the time of his life.
Absolutely.
He's out there alive.
Right. Yes. Now, my question is going to be, because the song doesn't say, did the uncle go with him on this little?
No, I think it's just
because, and that's what I've always thought too. Now he could have, because every car or picture that you see depicting the Red Barchetta, thank you, It's a two-seater.
I don't think you're saying that right.
Okay. It's Barchetta,
Chetta.
but Getty
Like the cheese.
pronounced it Chetta.
Cheddar.
But it's a two-seater with no roof. So yes, a permanent convertible.
Yeah, it's funny. I've never thought this out completely or vocalized it, but still, it's always been somewhere in my head that the uncle is too old to drive. So
Right.
the person, the narrator is the only person that drives it. Otherwise, the car just sits there idle and never gets any use.
Yeah, it's like, hey, it's your birthday. Here's your present, man. Look, hanging on to this for 50 odd years. All right. 50 odd years. It's a long time. Go out, have a great time with it.
It's a long time to leave that giant stranded by the riverside.
It really is 50 odd years.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about this song too, and thinking back when Jay first picked "Closer to the Heart" as his song to analyze. My first thought was, yeah, I'm not really a huge fan of that song. But when I started thinking about that concept of "Closer to the Heart" and more real crafts type things versus synthetic or digital things, this song kind of reminds me of "Closer to the Heart" in that you've got this air car, this futuristic thing that seems kind of clinical and unemotional and just like a digital thing. And his uncle and the farm and the Red Barchetta are these sort of man-made, person-made, like these crafts, these machines, these works of art are things that are closer to the heart, whereas the motor law and the eyes and these other big air cars are things that are not. They're the things from those oppressive governments and these dystopian societies. So that now, after that, I'm like, man, I am so glad Jay picked "Closer to the Heart" because I see that theme all the way through Clockwork Angels.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
Absolutely.
And I think I mentioned this before, where someone had mentioned how Hemispheres was the end of Neil's, where he grew out of the Randian influence. But I think this song's another perfect example of his stressing the importance of real things, craft type things, hands-on things, closer to the heart things, focusing on the individual rather than the community or the society.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I mean,
good choice, guys.
It's, when you drive down the interstate, how many Ferraris do you see passing by you?
None.
On a daily basis?
Right. Exactly.
Not many, if none.
How many DeLoreans do you see passing by you?
None.
Right.
And they're always.
But how many Ford F-150s do you see passing by you?
73.
And that's just
in 1 hour.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're all mass produced and
right. And so and I'm not saying that's what Ford is doing. What I'm saying is these other cars, this is the only choice you have. Wow. This Red Barchetta, man, that's a car that his uncle was in love with.
Yeah.
And he's passing that down to his nephew. It was
probably going to inherit that car.
Right. Well, if he didn't total it actually on the way back to his uncle's place. So
he's looking in the rearview mirror at the giant, at the bridge, not watching where he's going, and it runs off the road.
So no, he leaves the giant stranded for 50 odd years, but on his way back, he stops by the Dairy Queen and gets a 2-scoop cone, and on the way back hits a bump and drops it in the front seat, and the uncle comes out and is just pissed and
livid
the crap out of it. Yeah.
It's like, I told you I wanted a Blizzard.
Or maybe the uncle didn't know that he and his friends had taken the car out for a spin, so then he had to prop it up and he tried to make it go in reverse to run the miles off of it.
Right. Yes. And it didn't work. And
wait. Sorry, I thought it was Ferris Bueller for a second. My bad.
Yeah. Okay. So, but
Let my
it's
Cameron go.
and
Testicles.
it's I love Getty's bass sound on every song from Moving Pictures. I really love it on Red Barchetta. It just, that is what a bass guitar is supposed to sound like.
It's that Rickenbacker.
Right.
And the whole album. Yeah, the whole Moving Pictures, that Rickenbacker
Just-
bass. Just a little high, not really the low end bass, and slightly distorted, and yeah.
chorus on it.
A little bit of
Just
chorus. Yeah.
yes, just it just, and again, they weren't just a lot of their songs. I mean, I would have to say between Witch Hunt and The Camera Eye, they've got the most keyboards or keyboard parts on those songs, but the use of the keyboard foot pedals and stuff just and keeps the song rocking. That is just, look, it's just a rocking song. And to me, it's one of those songs that you would have thought they would have played every tour, starting with Moving Pictures, but no, they didn't. There were tours. There were tours. In fact, I want to say it was the Roll the Bones tour. In their encore, they did a huge medley, which most of the time it was 3 songs, maybe 4, that they would do their medley on. Most of the time it was just 2 or 3. But in this one, they go in, I'm going to kill myself for not knowing what it was. I want to say they played Spirit of Radio, and at the end, the they went into Red Barchetta right there, and they just played a little bit of it, but they did throw it out there. But yeah, no, they didn't play Red Barchetta all the time. And that's just one of those songs that I will take Red Barchetta over Tom Sawyer any day of the week.
I have to tell you,
yeah, I just threw that out there. Every Rush fan songs, people, every Rush song fans. I just threw it out there.
Wow. Hot sports opinions from Tim.
Yes.
You know what? Just let him have it in the social media.
No,
he doesn't have. So let him have it through. And speaking of that, every Rush song on every platform.
Every platform.
Every Rush song. Instagram.
Like you can get it on
every
a VCR.
Twitter.
Can you get it on a high dive?
Every Rush song. the tower at Six Flags. Every Rush song.
What about the upper levels at Sears?
The upper levels at Sears on that boat that we used to take from Port Aransas as a kid, that fishing boat went out into the bay. Every Rush song. Yeah.
How about a pontoon boat?
Yeah, I think I forgot the pontoon boats.
And get them on pontoon boats.
Yeah, I'll check.
Okay.
All right. I think we're
I think
praying.
We beat that dog into the ground.
Dog. So I think we really got into the lyrics. I think when I think we can come back around to Red Barchetta again, and because we didn't go a lot into the music. So I think there's still more to cover.
Could have sworn I was talking about how the music was helping the story express itself and get better and more exciting. I tell you what, maybe I shouldn't be a part of this podcast because apparently y'all don't listen to what I say. So, hey, every Rush song fan, I'm starting my own podcast. Okay. It's called Tim Knows Everything About Rush, but I want to teach you. So that's starting in 3 weeks from now. Okay. Attention, all planets of the Solar Federation. Tim has taken control. Tim has taken control. Tim has taken control.
It's a long title, but I'm just saying.
I think it has to be less than 80 characters.
I think you've exceeded their 80 character. But
well, there it is. Did we do Red Barchetta justice?
I hope so.
I think so. But I still want to know what everyone else, I want to know what you think, Rush fan. Tell us on all those, whichever social media platform works for you. We've opened up these ideas. We want to know what you think. And that way everyone can grow a little closer. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Jay, for helping us out with your wiseness. And we'll see you in the next. Oops, nope, that's Beer Thursday. We'll see you next time when we'll talk about another song. Tim?
Thank you very much. Good night.